What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop. So park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you'll see a Patreon account. You click it, you become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to. Now, with that being said, we are here today with the review for Cruella. Now, that is a new Disney film that is basically giving you the backstory of Cruella DeVille, which is the main antagonist of the 101 Dalmatians series. So, this movie stars Emma Stone as Cruella DeVille, and she does a freaking amazing job as Cruella DeVille. You also have Paul Hauser, who I know as Stingray from freaking Cobra Kai. Also, he plays Richard Jewell. You have Joel Fry, who I know from freaking what is it, 10,000 BC. Also, he was in The Earth. You have just a cast of a bunch of different people that you've seen throughout their film career various times, right? Like I said, this movie is basically taking a look at Cruella DeVille's life, her early life, and it talks a little bit about her upbringing, why she is the way she is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So, what do I think about this movie? The pros of this movie. The pros of this movie are very simple. One, this movie is well done, and one of the things that stood out to me immediately was the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this movie is amazing. The songs that they play all the time. They have the Doors. They have the Zombies. You have renditions of different songs, popular songs by other artists. I'm not familiar with the artists, but they do make the songs sound pretty good. There's a Led Zeppelin rendition in here, I believe. The soundtrack is banging. Like all throughout the film, soundtrack banging 100%. Also, the cast does a freaking amazing job. Emma Stone knocks it out of the park as Cruella DeVille. And my wife pointed out something that she pointed out. She was like, you know what? This honestly could have been Lindsay Lohan's career if she wasn't off that. You know what I'm saying? So, shout outs to Emma Stone for doing a freaking amazing job as Cruella DeVille. She embodied that character to the T, and she knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. The story was well done. The comedic aspects were very tasteful. It had a really good comedic aspect to it. The chemistry between Emma Stone, Paul, and Joel, perfect. It's like the perfect chemistry. Like you couldn't honestly ask for anything better. And the freaking dog, what is his name? Blink, hilarious. But there's a gripe I have about the dogs, but I'll get into that in a minute. Like I said, overall the movie, those three elements of the movies were good. Even though this movie is like I think it has a 2-hour runtime. The movie is 2 hours and 14 minutes. The movie doesn't feel like it. The movie flows really well, and honestly, you don't feel that 2 hours at all, like whatsoever. The movie flows really well. So then we have the cons of this movie. The cons of this movie is this. One of them, although the songs are banging, and there's a lot of music in this movie, and sometimes it really feels like, was this song really needed to be put here? Did it really need to be put here? Like, is it really that serious? You know, like it really became very constant. Like it felt like every 10 to 15 minutes a song was playing, and you're just kind of like, okay, like this is tight because it's very notable music. Like I noticed all of these songs. I can name the songs. I can sing along with the songs. But at the same time, it's like, is there like any score to this film, or is it just all artists that we already know or songs that we're already familiar with? Then you have another con, which is the CGI dogs. There's a scene, like there's several scenes in this movie with CGI dogs, and I sat back and I was just like, yo, like why do we have CGI dogs right now? You don't really need CGI dogs. You can honestly have real dogs play these scenes. And my wife pointed out, of course, because Air Bud did it, why the hell can't they? And I completely agree with that. Air Bud knocked out of the park with actual dogs doing some of the scenes. And I was confused as why they didn't go that route for this movie. Although the backstory to Cruella DeVille is, it does a very good job at showing you her upcoming and showing her how she develops into this character of Miss DeVille, how she gets the name and all of that stuff. I don't think that it merges perfectly with the actual story from 101 Dalmatians. The actual story from 101 Dalmatians, they try to talk about how she maybe developed this distaste for Dalmatians, and they kind of hint at the whole Dalmatian fur thing, and you don't really get that sense of her being actually like evil and able to, like, she's bad in this movie obviously, but is she bad enough to the point where she would do something evil and atrocious to these animals? I don't get that vibe from her. I don't get, by the end of the movie I should feel like she is capable of skinning 100 dogs in order to make them make a fur coat. And at the end of this movie I don't get that. You know, I don't feel like she's capable of doing these things, which to me kind of like, I sympathize with her character, which honestly you should, because this is a solo film. But at the same time, I should feel like the continuity of the character should be able to be carried into the original series. You know what I mean? By the end of this movie, I should feel like, yeah, this is the Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. I can see it tight. I understand that people are going to say, well, you know, she hasn't met the fur yet, or, you know, maybe this is going to happen when she gets older. I get it. But at the same time, at this moment in time, I don't feel like she has a gripe against dogs enough in order to, like, to have her actually do this fur thing that's going to later on happen in her life, because this is the same DeVille, right? I don't feel it. Outside of those things, to be honest with you, everything else in the film was pretty good. Like I said, I enjoyed Emma Stone's acting, top notch, amazing. What's her name? Emma Thompson does an amazing job as the Baroness, because she is an integral character to the story. Another con I have is, I know this movie's not trying to be predictable, but it was very predictable. I know it's not trying to trick you. It's not trying to throw you off the trail. It's not trying to it's not trying to hide anything from you. It's not trying to elude anything from you. But to me, it was very, very, I was able to figure this shit out real quick, what was possibly going to happen by the end of the movie. I don't feel like doing that. And it's not, and I don't go into movies thinking like, hey, you know what, I'm going to try to figure this out at the end. But there are times when you're just watching a movie and you're just like, it just smacks you in the face and you're like, this is about to happen. You know, it's not that you're looking for it. It's not like you're trying to do it. It's just something that you think in your head, like, okay, this is where they're going to go next. And then when it ends up happening, you're just like, yo, that was way too easy. Maybe you should have went a different route. Very predictable story, but it's still well done. So here on the Cinema Chop Shop, we grade movies in 3 different ways. Either you get bodied and sent to the bowels of hell, you get spared and you descend into the pearly gates, and I tell you how dope your movie is. And then also you get a big fat meh, which just means you're mediocre, mid-range, mid-grade, mid-range jumper, all that good shit, you know? This movie honestly was very enjoyable. I liked it a lot. The runtime didn't bother me at all. So this movie definitely is getting spared.
He ain't earned the death. He ain't earned the death at my hands. God's only man, spared by the butcher.
Yeah, you heard it, folks. I am sparing Cruella. This was a really good movie, very enjoyable. A movie you could watch with your family and enjoy it. This was honest. I didn't want to watch this movie. I'm being dead serious. I had no interest in watching this movie until I saw the trailer. The trailer is what reeled me in because it looks so damn good. Like I said, I'm not really a huge fan of the overly CGI dogs and backgrounds and scenery and things like that. But looking past that, the script is very amazing. Minus those little flaws that I pointed out, this is a really good movie to watch and enjoy with your family. Would I buy it from Disney Plus? No, because you could definitely go to the movie theaters and probably see it for cheaper. Just throwing that out there. Disney Plus is way too overpriced. Ain't it like $30 to watch it or rent it for like a certain amount of hours? I get it if you watch it multiple times within that span, it's worth the money, but nobody's going to watch this movie, a 2-hour movie, 2 times. Motherfuckers got work and a life to live. I can't see nobody doing that. So that's my review. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree, whatever the case may be. Drop it in the comment section down below. You are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. I hope you guys are having a magnificent day, and adios, homies.